Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Bird Brain 66. I'm here along with my co-host Brian Bretsch over there on the left or right, as we always say, somewhere in cyberspace. Brian,
What's up, Andy?
hey, we're going to look at the 2022 Topps Archive set. Got 13 base cards as we figured out because it was card 110 we had a question about whether or not that was included as a base card, and some people include it as a team set card, and some people do not. And there it is right there in the Cardinals 17 game winning streak from last year. So we will start off with, I'll start off, I guess I'll start it off. Oh, there it
Go
is.
ahead. Yeah, go for it.
So we start off with the look of the 63s, and we can see Big Mac right there. Great player selection in this particular set, by the way. And really like the cards that they have here. I know a lot of glare there. I'll have to fix that. And it's just like loaded with fan favorites in here. So next up is Wayno.
Again, love the look and feel of the 63 with the little
Yeah,
circle at the bottom with a different, like an action shot of the player. Same look and feel on the back of a 63. Love it.
last but not least, Yachty. And by the way, I'm hoping next week during the winter meetings that we actually find his replacement. At least some point this off season that we actually get another catcher at some point. So next up on there, Brian, go ahead.
So we love this archive set because we started out with kind of a look and feel of the 63 set. Now we're going to go to the look and feel of the archives of 2022, but with the look and feel of the 1978 Topps card. So there's Mr. Goldschmidt. What I like about that is he's showcasing that new bat that was talked about so much during the off season with that little special knob that allowed him to gain some much needed bat speed in his opinion as he gets older. And lo and behold, it turned into not just an average season for him, but a MVP season. So
Yeah,
happy.
these and this particular design of the 78 set was probably when we really started picking up on our collecting back in the day, in 78 to show our age. So as kids, so remember getting those, you could either get these in cello packs back, the 78s in cello packs, or just the regular wax packs back in the day.
And if you remember too, there's that little game on the back that you could play. This one with Ozzy, you got a triple. You drew that card in the baseball game that was a part of it.
From Block and Lars, look at, as you can see down there, indicated by the RC rookie card for Lars. He's got several this year in all these top sets.
I love the picture with the fake background in the
Yeah,
cities with the blue clouds and blue sky, white clouds. So Lars, the subject of a couple of trade rumors out there, or he's mentioned.
well, I would think we need to stick with Lars.
Brings a lot of energy
He's,
in the
he's
clubhouse.
one of our other outfielders that we have. So it's Mr. O'Neill, another subject of many trade rumors going on right now.
So what do you do if you decide to keep him? Sort of a contract you give him, because remember everybody was complaining that Mo made a mistake and didn't give him the big monster contract in his final season, and then he didn't have the season that he had a year or so ago. I
And
did
if you look,
find, yeah, go ahead.
you notice, I'm trying to get the glare off there. You could see that on the stand card, it has both positions indicated on the little baseball up in the corner.
Interesting part of his swing right here. So there were a lot of really, I don't know if you want to call them after swings or just, I just remember in the 60s, there were a lot of really weird stances. I mean, I don't know if I ever really saw Stan on a baseball card in his actual famous stance other than like, what was it? 62 when he has when they've got that one extra card of him in there, like
Of his
3,000
20, was that his 21st season? That the one you're talking about?
21st season. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he would have in 62, he would have been far surpassed 3,000 hits.
It's
But yeah.
interesting on this one, interesting photo of Albert.
Mhm.
It almost looks like a painting.
I think it's either a painting or it's photoshopped.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Because it's definitely not a normal photograph.
Right. And I was just looking at it really closely here in the back to see if that perhaps is an Angels ball cap in the background, but there's no really cool marks on it or anything that sets it apart. But that's kind of what I was thinking. But again, going back to that stand one, I've never really liked out of his such a great stance. Again, I'm going to show this one more time. This one just I've seen this out there a couple of times, and this one is
Yep.
just puzzling to me why this ends up on a number of different cards. Sorry, I just made my own head really big in there, but the point was to make the card never knock anything about any stand cards, but gosh, I just wish his unique batting stance would have been captured. And
Then
what
we
are we
jump up
looking
to
at?
the 87, the wood grain. Love those. I mean, if you remember back in the day, a lot of people didn't like this wood grain look, because it kind of mirrored the 62s.
Mm-hmm.
People really hated this, but now it's become a really popular set for collectors out there.
Yeah, that's that new, I think the new divide line for folks who are saying that anything that is vintage now is 87 and older. So I think that's got a lot of people in,
Oh,
you
and
know,
you talking about the kind of like the conversation we had a couple weeks ago with Tony when
Tony. Yep.
I'm changing my stance on it, by the way, but I'm going to wait to talk about that when Tony's back on again.
Yes.
So,
Interesting, interesting one of Nolan.
yeah,
I'm not 100% sure if I like this photo or not. It almost looks like it, and nothing that he ever does is nonchalant. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
this just looks like I don't know what this is. Maybe this is a play where he's charging maybe a bunted ball or something. It's just there's something I don't to me that's just I don't know different or it's great
So we
camera work, but
we got one
just
of our
different.
another outfielder here that another subject of many trade rumors. So it seems like our entire outfield is a subject of many trade rumors right now, going into the winter meetings next week.
Because we don't have a bat. No,
Well,
no, no.
they're telling us we're going to come out with a catcher and big left-handed bat, whatever that looks like.
Well, Mo's already talked a little bit about, or at least the media has talked a little bit about what happens if, Tyler O'Neill returns to his old form. I'm like, that's not happening.
Well,
Not happening.
that'd be okay. I mean, he doesn't have to do it in St. Louis. That's okay.
Right. Exactly.
So now we're getting into the a couple of the inserts in this set. So this one is the
I
Nolan
forgot to pull that one.
postcard, which is really cool. I really like that. Greetings from St. Louis. And if you look at just like and maybe a lot of people that never, don't even know what a postcard is. If you're younger, you might not have seen a postcard, but that's kind of what it looked like. Had a cool picture on the front from somewhere you traveled to, and you sent it back to your family or friends, and had like a short note on the back of it.
And the Cardinals produced postcards. I think maybe maybe they and only one other team produced postcards. Remember that in the 50s and the
Yeah,
60s, you could write a player and you would get a personalized note on wasn't a maybe like a 4x6 photo card, and there came in a nice envelope that said, to my friend Andy, best wishes, whatever, signed by Julian
yeah.
Javi or Cha
I
Cha.
got one from Jimmy Dugan. Said, "Don't get the clap." That's a league of your own reference there for baseball movie aficionados.
Nice, nice, nice.
Tom Hanks. These are the chrome big foils that are also an insert inside the archive set this year. You got the Ozzy and also got Nolan. It's funny too because these weren't very popular cards back in the late '80s. These
Mhm.
the Topps big, but this is second year in a row that they've run Topps big within the archive set, which I find pretty strange. But Topps does some strange things sometimes, and sometimes, but they look pretty cool now that they put them in chrome.
Mhm.
The only other insert I got from this one is I really like this card just because because I always like to get a Keith Hernandez card. Is there's a I got an auto out of there.
What did you say that was? Like one of what? Does it say on the back? I thought you said it was like one
Uh,
of five or one of 10 or something like that.
I don't know if this one particularly is. I think it's just one of the auto inserts in there. Just tells you that hey, you're lucky you received this
Right.
card. But obviously not from a photo from his debut, obviously, because he didn't look like that when he came up.
Right. It was probably about 1981, maybe 82, right before maybe
Yeah.
that World Series year in 82. Because that looked, I mean, that definitely a much older looking photo of him. So
Oh, definitely.
cool. Overall, I again love the archive set. I love what Topps does with Heritage. You and I have been bashing their base sets now for a while, just because there isn't very much creativity. That they all sort of kind of have small tweaks over time. But I do like these retro looks. You mentioned it at the top when we were kicking off that you like the good balance of some of the players in here, like Lou and
Well,
Mark. So
Bill,
cool.
you just brought up a good point, and I'm going to show a card that has really nothing to do with this set, just because you brought this up.
Sure.
But go back to the '87 look. So here's from the Turn Back the Clock series that Topps has. So that just shows you this has been going on, I think, about 3 years now. The Turn Back the Clock series. That's Ozzy, obviously from the his famous Homer back in the '85 series. But it's funny how the '87 look has really just taken off here lately. So I just wanted to kind of showcase that. Um, yeah, beautiful set, nice cards, great player selection. Luckily everybody that's still on the team was in this particular set because a lot of times we get a set, you're like, oh my gosh, they couldn't have taken this guy out because he hasn't been on the team all season, or it's like, is anybody paying attention to what's going on? But
Right. Well, and you're also happy, and I'm also happy because Wayno got his just due in this one. We've talked until we've been blue in the face about how many times Adam has been just for whatever reasons overlooked. So that's good to see there. But going around going from first to third, and the pitching staff. If you could call out one player who you would have liked to seen added to make this maybe a 14 or a 15 card set, who would you have added? I know one in particular for me.
oh, from this year's team or what?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking back also for vintage players since we have Brock and Stan in there. So
Okay, you do that then. To make it officially a 15, give me a vintage player and then somebody from this team, and then I'll tell you who I'd like to see on there.
how about Ducky Medwick or somebody like that for once? Somebody that doesn't show up in a lot of top stuff. A lot of great Cardinals out there because it could have been Dizzy Dean or Rogers Hornsby or because that's the typical lineup you get with along with Brock Gibson and Musial and Ozzy. But somebody like Ducky Medwick or heck, Jimmy Wilson possibly any of those guys. Miller Huggins, how about even putting him in there? Something like that, something a little bit different for once.
Okay, all right, and mine, I agree with you
Oh, I got one
wholeheartedly.
more. How about Euchre with the freaking tuba? Can we get
That
that?
one.
Now put that in the archive set now as an insert. Now that would be a cool freaking card.
If they watch this, it'll be an insert. It'll be a short print.
That's all right.
That
I'd have
would
to
be our
get
luck.
that card.
Yeah, I would love that. I totally agree. My only other one, as soon as you mentioned Ducky Medwick, my brain immediately went to Pepper Martin. So
Oh, yeah, good
I
call.
would, I would go either one of those. Give those guys a little bit of extra love, maybe even a little bit of Frankie Frisch in there. But
Yeah.
I definitely would say Ducky and Pepper first and foremost. Okay, and then current team, who was overlooked this year, who you think should have had a card?
Well, I'm gonna go with one of two guys, and I could have picked either one. It could have been Brendan Donovan or Tommy Edmond, because without either one of those two guys, this team doesn't stay afloat throughout this season. So I would probably lean more toward Donovan, just based on what he did from the time he hit the ground running early in the season. So I would probably go with Donovan. That'd have been a cool rookie card to have in this set.
I agree. I mean, I was going to say Tommy Edmond for sure, and if we needed another pitcher in there, I would have said probably Miles Michaelis, just because for some reason it just doesn't seem like he's included in a lot of stuff either. But flip of a coin, my first choice would have been Edmond, then Donovan, and you're going Donovan and Edmond, so pretty cool. So overall, I'm again more pleased with this than their base set, and again, kudos to them for giving the look of the 63, the 78, and now the 87. And then, as you pointed out, the Topps big set, was that 87 and 88, or was that 88 and 89?
It was
That's,
it's actually 3 years. It was, I
oh,
believe,
you're right.
87, 88, and 89 when they
Yeah,
had big.
that's correct. Yep. So, and kudos to them for doing that, because that is a really cool look and feel. In fact, I have more enjoyment collecting these than I do the base set. The only reason why I keep getting the base set is because back in the day, that's all there was besides the goofy
Right.
stickers. So you gotta can't skip a year or two in the base set. You always got to have them. So
Well, I'm excited about our next set that we have. We will just let that go because it's got one of my, and it's actually, that's actually stickers. Or stamps. I'm sorry. They're actually,
same, yeah.
it's got one of my all-time favorite Cardinal stamps in that. And I just can't wait to go over that set. I can't even look at it without laughing ever.
Yeah, it might go down as our best show. So and again, we'll either do it just the two of us tag teaming it, or we may ask Tony to jump in, because who knows, he might have a favorite that we don't know about
Right.
that we may laugh at even more so than this particular stamp that we're so fond of. So we'll just leave it at that.
Exactly. Clock. Close this out.
All right, sounds good. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for joining us again for this edition of Bird Brain 66. We really appreciate it. We have a lot of fun doing this, trying to keep collecting fun. If you got any suggestions for any of the shows, just tweet at us at Bird Brain 66.